Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to my video on the Big Tent Show. To me, by far the most exciting thing that happens in Quartzsite every season. What you see in the background here is an aerial view of the big tent, and this is in a past year, and the tent is at least 40 foot longer than what you see here. You can see it's absolutely enormous. And it is purported to be the biggest RV show in the country, and I'm sure there's a controversy over who's really the biggest, but there's no doubt that it's one of the biggest. It's the biggest I've ever been to. The interior of the tent doesn't really have any RVs on it. You can see behind me, the RVs are surrounding it. In the tent is I'm sure I haven't counted, but there are going to be several links for you in the description. One of the links is the vendor list. You can go that and you can search it. It's that big. You might need to search it to find a vendor, and it'll tell you where to find your favorite vendor, which might come in handy because check this out. This is the way things look in the middle. This is the crowd. This is what it's like inside the tent. All these people. And to me, it's really exciting. People are almost exclusively in a great mood. People have big smiles. The vendors have big smiles. You're welcome there if you buy stuff. You're welcome there if you don't buy stuff. It's just a lot of fun. It's noisy. There are a lot of crowds. I tell you, I see people bringing their dogs in, and I would not subject Dottie to all that noise and confusion. But some people do. It's allowed. You can bring your dog. The only time it seems to make sense is maybe it's an older dog and you have it in a push carriage and it doesn't really hear that well anyway. Anyway, if you like crowds like this, you're gonna love the big tent. So what's in the big tent? Well, they're certainly the things that you would expect. Companies that sell various products related to RV life, right? Hitches and heaters and air conditioners and toilets and just about anything that you could dream up that is where there's a major manufacturer of RV goods, you're going to find it here at the Big Tent. And one of my favorite things is I have a Tire Minder brand tire pressure monitor that I've had for about 5 years now. And if you go up to their booth and you say, "Hey, I own a Tire Minder, can I get batteries?" They'll give you free batteries for your Tire Minder. So I never really pay for my batteries. I go to that booth every year and they just hand you over, "How many do you have?" And I say, "I have 4," and they'll hand me 4 batteries. That's all there is to that. There are other things too. If you're looking for seasonal work, camp hosting jobs, you might have heard of you can work for 6 weeks in at a beet harvest, and you can make a lot of money in 6 weeks, like over $1,000, $2, $3, sometimes $4,000, depending on what job you have and how much overtime you get during that 6 weeks. There's more than one. Last year, there was more than one beet harvest company that will talk to you about it and hire you and tell you where and when to show up. And mostly they have places for RVs for, you get to hook up and I'm imagining not have to pay for your space. So there's places that sell memberships in RV clubs and RV resorts, and places I'm sure that sell parcels of land for your RV, things like that. One of my other favorites is a company called Flat Stacks, and it's kind of fancy Tupperware that the Tupperware collapses down. And it's heavy duty, and I love it. If I open my cabinet in my RV, you'd see more flat stacks than a single guy probably needs. But I love the lady that does the demonstrating. She's hard to miss. So that's a lot of fun. So it starts on the 18th and will run through the following Sunday. So like 8 days. And I'll be going every single day and doing a video every single day. Why would I go every day, all those days? Because it's so big, I can't get to everything. I like to, when I have a vendor that interests me, I ask to interview them. So that's what my videos are. So as the Big Tent's happening, you'll be seeing videos every day coming out where it has me interviewing vendors that are there the day before. So I get really excited about that. Another favorite I have is electric e-bikes, not electric, but electric e-bikes out of Phoenix. Every year they have a big showing there. They have usually a really good deal on an e-bike. It's, you see people constantly walking out with their new e-bikes. They're outside. In this year is like every other year, which I'm sure it will be. They are not in the tent; they're outside the tent because they have like a little area where you can test drive these e-bikes. It's really neat, and I encourage you to visit them. So if you are deciding, well, I want to come out to Quartzsite for that, and you're deciding that now, and you want to stay in an RV park in Quartzsite, you're probably out of luck. They're booked. You can try. There are 50 RV parks in Quartzsite. A town of 2,500 people has 50 RV parks. They really do. And they are full from, the middle of January to the end of January. This is and of course they charge more. You can try to find a spot, but it's going to be tough. So you may have to be stuck boondocking with the likes of me. In the LTVAs, the long-term visitor areas, there are 4 of them, all south of town on 95, and you can buy a 2-week pass for $40. And that gives you access that there's no hookups. You're not going to plug into electricity, but you will have access to fresh water and a place to dump your tanks if you want to. Otherwise, there's quite a few free 14-day BLM areas you can park in. Again, no hookups. You have to boondock, and you need to be prepared for that. And I would say the main thing to prepare for are cold nights. And if you're not super familiar with how your furnace works in your RV, and you've never run it overnight before, and your house, what they call the house battery, is just one 12-volt battery that's basic, not lithium, lead acid, you probably won't get through the night. It'll drain your battery because, propane furnace, it just burns propane, right? Well, in addition to that, it uses a lot of electricity to blow that hot air into your rig. So if a strategy can be use that, set the temperature very low, and bundle up at night when you're sleeping. You can get around that. So if you set it at 50 degrees, say, or 55 degrees on your thermostat, with that one little battery, you may make it through the night, but you got to have a way to charge it. If you didn't have solar, the second night, you're going to be in big trouble. So it gets cold at night between 40 and 45 degrees. It can get, and it can get even colder. It can get near freezing. Unfortunately, I do have the forecast through, let's see, as far ahead as it goes is the 19th, so the second day, through the second day, and the highs are in the, like the opening day at 66 high, partly cloudy and low of 40. On the 19th, it's 64 of the high, low of 40. So it's starting to get pretty cool in those first couple of days. I would not be surprised if those temperatures dropped in the ensuing days. So just be aware of that. Now, let's say you're already here, you already have a reservation, and you wonder, well, where is the Big Tent? Well, it's hard to miss. It's on the south side of Interstate 10. And you get there by, in the middle of Quartzsite, there's two big roads running east to west is Main Street, running north to south is called Central Boulevard, but it's also Arizona 95. So if you're going either way on Main Street, you're going to make a turn going to the south. If you're coming from like McDonald's and Pilot, etc., you make a right. If you're coming from where the markets are, the Roadrunner Market, the Coyote Market, Main Street Laundry, DG Market, you'll make a left onto 95. You'll go over the Interstate 10. As you go over there, if you look off to your right, you're going to see that tent. You can't miss it. It's like 650 feet long. It is enormous. So there's a couple of places to park. As you come across and get to there's a traffic light down there on Kuhn Street. It's Queuehn, and it's pronounced Kuhn Street. In the area where you make a right-hand turn there is known as Tyson Wells. And the big tent is on that property. But also on that property, you'll see as you drive through there, are there vendor tents everywhere on both sides of the street. And it's a destination in itself apart from the big tent. But if you're lucky enough to find a spot on Kuhn Street, which you're not gonna be, trust me, but you could get lucky, but you probably won't. It's a very short walk to the big tent. You just go to the south, cross to the south side of the street, keep walking south, and you'll see signs and you'll see the tent and everybody's walking there. It's not hard to find. But if you're like me, I won't find a convenient spot like that. So I keep going down Kuhn Street, and right as the tents kind of disappear, there to the right is a parking lot. And that parking lot goes all the way back to the interstate. And trust me, it's going to be full of cars, but you need to wander around. The further back you go, the more likely it is to find a spot. And it can be, if you're parking like underneath the interstate, and be careful going off, into the desert off there, because you can get stuck in sand. Just be careful. They mark designated spots with chalk, so you can see what designated spots are. I don't think anybody's going to tow you if you get away from that and get off into the desert a little bit, but you could get stuck, and it might be expensive to get someone to pull you out. So that was my go-to for my first couple of years until I discovered what I call the secret spot. If you, instead of making a right on Kuhn Street, you go over Interstate 10, go through the light, don't turn on Kuhn Street. In your next, you'll see a bunch of Class A RVs, like in a lot on your right. At the end of that, right after the last RV you see, there's going to be a big sign that says RV show with an arrow to the right. And they have parking back there. Now, I can't forecast how they're going to do that this year. A couple of years ago, there was someone taking money to park back there. Last year, there was no one taking money. So I'm going to show you on this map. You're coming to the back side, not map, I'm sorry, this picture that you're seeing now of the big tent. Where the arrow is, this is where the parking lot that's back there, and that row where the arrow is pointing to, that row that's the closest to the tent there, like you park there and in 2 steps you're at the tent. I routinely find a spot there. Don't ask me why, but I go straight to that first row. Other people are wandering around and doing circles trying to find it. I go straight to that row, and you will often find a spot. Maybe I'm just crazy. I've been crazy lucky the past couple of years, but that's what I've been doing. And it often will work. And that's really convenient, especially if you get tempted into buying a bunch of stuff, you can walk it out to your car, put it in, and keep going. So the other thing that's wonderful about, there's two other exciting things that you can do at the Big Tent Show. One is you notice that it's surrounded by RVs. That's because an RV dealership has paid to be there, and they are putting out their inventory there, and they'll sell you an RV. Well, I don't want to buy an RV, but I do like walking through them. So that's what a lot of people, the exciting part is going to the show and walking through and maybe taking pictures and videos of their dream RVs. What would it be like if I owned this, $500,000 Tiffin or whatever? That's a lot of fun. And also, I mentioned that the electric e-bikes were outside the tent. Well, the whole perimeter outside the tent is filled with vendors. There are inside vendors and outside vendors. And many of the outside vendors are some really good food opportunities. Yeah, I've eaten some amazing stuff there. So now you're getting a flavor for how many different things there are to do at the Big Tent Show. So now you know when it is, you know where it is, you got a couple of, maybe one insider tip on where to park. And if you're successful in that, post a comment to any of my videos and say, hey, Rob, I followed your advice and I got a great spot. Even take a picture of it. I don't think you can't attach a picture to a comment. Maybe that day will come when you can attach a picture to a comment. That would be nice. What else? That is pretty much it. If you have questions about the Big Tent, first go into the description. I've got the link to their main webpage. I've got an express link to the list in that webpage, the list of the vendors, so you can find vendors. Because if there are particular ones you want to see, you might want to write down where they are. There's an alphanumeric designation for every booth. You might want to write that down, because if you think you can just wander around and find your vendor, guess again. It's not easy to do. Even I would go back and I think I know where a vendor was, and I would get, everything kind of looks the same there, and there are multiple aisles going from front to back and then side to side. You can get pretty lost in there, but it helps if you have the designation of exactly where they are. And if you go and you see me walking around with a little camera in my hand, say hi. You might say, if I'm recording, you can tell me, hey, I wanted to meet you. I don't want to be on camera. And then I'll stop recording and I'll speak with you. But if you don't mind, if you come up and engage with me, I will ask you, do you mind being on a video? And if you're okay with it, say yes. If it's no, then you won't be on the video. But I will talk to you and meet you, and I'll be thrilled to do that one way or the other. It's just fine. So saying, if you have questions, go to the website. If you have more general questions about my experience at the Big Tent, I'll answer those in the comments. Complex questions, I gotta warn you that I don't answer complex questions by typing a response, but you can come back to my channel the day following you did the comment and watch my comment video, because I read all my comments, and the complex ones I answer verbally on camera. So sometimes if it's a 1 or 2 word answer, I'll do it typing it in the comments, but if it's fairly complex, I'll wait until the next morning when I do the comment video. Those of you that watch me regularly and are in Quartzsite, you may be interested to know I have scheduled my meetup in Quartzsite. It's going to be the week of several days before the Big Tent opens, but on the 14th, many people will be here. It's going to be at 1 p.m. on the 14th of January. That's a Tuesday. And it's going to be, if you go to the dog park in town in Quartzsite. And there's only one. You can Google it. You can ask anybody how to get there. When you get there, there are 3 separate areas: small dog, medium dog, large dog. Small dog is nearest to the entrance. Go to where the big dog ones are, and then in front of you, next to it, you'll see, it's not a gazebo, but it's a covered area with picnic benches. That's where I will be with Dottie. And also, I'm going to do, this is a joint meet up with Herbie of My Nomadic Dream. And you can find him by putting the @ My Nomadic Dream, or if you just want to do search, it's My Space Nomadic Space Dream. You'll come up with his channel. We camp near each other. He's a really great guy, and he's new to YouTube, but he has accomplished in just a few months, which took me years to accomplish, in terms of viewership and being monetized, which tells you something. He's really good at it. He's a really, really fun, nice guy. It was my idea to do it with him because I admire him so much. I think I think we have very similar thoughts and sensibilities in our videos. So go ahead. If you're going to come see me, you don't know him, watch a bunch of his videos, because you'll probably, when you watch a bunch of his videos, you may be more excited to meet Herbie than me, which is fine with me. Come meet both of us. So we'll be there on that Tuesday at 1 o'clock next to the dog park. Anyway, I hope those of you that want to be here for the big tent are here, and that you really enjoy it as much as I love to enjoy it. I just love the big crowds and the noise and kind of the chaos, and it's like a carnival. It's really exciting. I will say, every year when it closes on that following Sunday, and then Monday, everybody starts to sort of clear out of the desert and leave and go on their way, I'm a little relieved. But it's just enough crowds and chaos to be fun, and then it's over at just about the right time, and I can peace and quiet again. So anyway, there you go. That's your guidelines for the big tent. 1 or 2 insider tips. I hope you got something on this video, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.